Hi there, my name is Laura and welcome to another video. If it's your first time here, thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate it. And if it's not your first time here, thank you so much for coming back. I really appreciate you coming and watching the videos. If you'd like to improve your riding and training, win more ribbons at your next horse show, or generally like other horsey related stuff,
then this is the place you want
to be.
This
is where you need to be.
Right.
I'd like to introduce Randy.
Hi, everybody. Nice seeing you today.
Wrong way.
Hope you're having a beautiful day because we are.
Yes, exactly. Randy has been coaching and certifying riding instructors for over 25 years and is a horse industry legal consultant and expert witness and the founder of Jumping Instructors Network on Facebook. Thanks again, Randy, for hanging out with me this morning. I appreciate it.
It's so we've got some fun.
So we have here. So here we go. First thing. Yes. Hey. Hi, Mackenzie. Hello from Kentucky. Excited to watch today. Yeah, we're excited to have you here as well. We'll see if we can get to you. All right. So, Randy, what's been going on with you this past week?
Oh, the things are so wild in the world. Who has time to even think about what we're doing in our own lives, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So it's been, it's been an exciting, interesting, crazy week. What else can we say? One day to the next. What about you?
Oh, pretty busy. We've been, not just on YouTube, but we've been doing a lot of work on the Jumping Instructors Network on Facebook. And if you're available Monday night, Jumping Instructors Network, where the guest is going to be McLean Ward, which is going to be really cool. So I'd like to promote that a little bit for everybody. And here's Denise. Hi there. Thank you so much for coming out today. Really appreciate it. So this show, we review riding positions on photographs that you've sent in. And if you'd like to send in a photograph to have reviewed by us and live on the air, then please send me an email, thistleridge@hotmail.com. I think we got a banner for that. thistleridge@hotmail.com. Or if you're on Instagram, you can use the hashtag are my heels down and we'll get to that as well. So you ready to get started here, Randy?
Rock and roll.
Okay, so before we get to I have a question, ask it here. Really love to have your questions and comments. It's so exciting to be here. Just reading in the comments here. You may see us kind of look down and do typing and that type of thing. It's because we're looking at the comments and looking at the screen. My screen is right here and my camera's up there. So I may have to look down and up.
Way up here. Way up here is where the camera is for me, like you.
Yeah.
And my screen is way down.
Yeah, same with me. So if I want to look at Randy or look at the pictures, it's here. So, and if I want to look up, then there it is there. Of course, I could change things. So here's a picture of a 2-point position. And Randy, what do you like about this picture?
Well, let me get my magnifying glass out.
Okay, so while you're doing that, there's a couple things that I really like. So when you're doing the 2-point position, there's to keep in balance with your horse. We always say, if you want to keep in balance, if we took that horse away from you, where would you stand or what would happen when you're standing? So to keep in balance, you'd like to have a straight line. Shoulder, knee, toe. And I think there's a good straight line there, shoulder, knee, toe. What do you think, Randy? You think there's a pretty decent straight line there?
It's a straight line, but I feel that her position, it's a photo, so it's a stiff position, but she's too far ahead in the saddle for her 2-point position, which has brought her leg almost, you can see it's behind the girth, but it's starting to go in front of the girth.
Yeah, so exactly. I think if her seat were over the seat of the saddle, then her lower leg would kind of jump forward. I'm just wondering if maybe there's something going on with the saddle that's not helping her out too much.
I think she's too high in the saddle is what's happened.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's what I would say. An analogy I heard this week, which is really good, it was from Susan Harris, and that is with the hunter riders that are doing the 2-point position is we should be able to imagine that we could take a belt and put it from their pelvis to the back of the saddle, a seat belt. So if you look, as you look at that picture, you can see she's not in the seat belt.
If you put a seat belt where?
The back of the saddle, the cantle.
Yeah.
To the front of her pelvis and brought her back down a little bit. Yep.
Like this?
Yes, and then you bring her down.
Oh, okay.
And that would be the correct position.
So her seat like this, like that a little bit more.
Yes.
Instead of.
Well, she's posing for a photo, so there's I can see from the photo there's no spring, but she's posing for a photo. We all do this, right? When we're posing for photos, but you can see the stiffness in the photo. It's nothing to do with what you're doing in real life, because you're posing for the photo. It appears that it's made you, it gives you a stiffer position. I can also see from this position, from this photo, that she has had good training. You can see that she's worked hard to get to where she is. No question about it. Her helmet is fitting right. Something else I would like to see again, this is a posed photo. I can see that her thigh is not, the right part of her thigh is not where it could be for somebody of this level. So for her, she should pick up her right leg with the stirrup staying. Here's the secret of the stirrup leather. The stirrup leather should hang up and down. You'll see this one hangs a little bit to the front.
Yeah.
So the secret to the stirrup leather when we're bringing our thigh back is you bring your, for example,
there's the stirrup leather. So you'd like to have the stirrup leather here.
Yeah, so she's going to bring her, to adjust her thigh, she has to bring her right leg out without the stirrup leather getting loose. Like the stirrup leather.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Right? And then you bring your leg back. So you bring your leg up. So you
up
loosen
and
your
back.
Thigh, keeping the stirrup leather tight. Then you bring it back and then slide your thigh forward.
Forward.
And it'll cause your thigh to lay flatter on the horse, which will give you an increased base of stability.
On the inside part of your thigh, right?
Yes, the inside.
Yeah, we on the inside part of the thigh.
It's really the part, it's about like 4 inches above the knee and then, below that.
Yeah, excellent. I mean, those are really specific things that, and because we can get specific, because this rider's is, you can see that she's got an educated leg, right? Okay, I just wanted to get, that was just kind of a warm up before we got into some of the other pictures that we have here. If you have any questions or comments, we'd love to hear them. Please put them in the comments section of, if you're on YouTube, put them in the comments section. If you're on Facebook, put them in the comments section. We'd love to hear what you think about that. And if you've tried that exercise, because I know that I've done that quite a bit, as actually physically reach underneath my thigh and move the fat muscle.
Even the
exactly.
Even the thin people have to do this.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, that's good to hear.
Yeah, it's good.
But I'm not one of those. But yeah,
right. It's that
exactly.
Most riders ride with it pushed forward in front of their leg.
Yeah, it's tough.
Yeah, it is.
Okay, so now we have a video. And before we go to that, let me just see where video we have. Okay, Veronica. This is Veronica. Veronica, if you're out there, love to hear from you. Veronica, thanks to the quarantine, I've had lots of time on my hands and have been watching your videos nonstop. Yay! I find all of them, especially position reviews, extremely helpful. I'm 17, been riding for 6 years. Thank you so much for your time and advice. It's so amazing that you're offering these videos. I really appreciate it. Well, we appreciate you also watching. Okay, so here is Veronica. Oh, he's so cute. Are you watching, Randy? Am I showing it?
Yes.
Okay, good. Sometimes I sit and watch it on my own and
all right, so as we're watching it, we'll go back to what we were talking about, the other rider, and I'm going to start from the head back down. So as I watch it, first of all, she's a lovely rider. You know, she's
So
consistent.
soft, eh?
So soft, and I like how
Yeah.
when she ends this line, the horse gets a little fussy with his head. You don't see her react at all. She just
No, she
stays
just says,
quiet.
"Okay, big deal. We
Yep,
got
no,
this."
no big deal, no big deal.
She
So
says,
now, as we're watching her go around, you can see that her leg has a tendency to turn. Her toes have a tendency to turn. There, she's using the back of her leg.
"Yep,
Okay, so for her, this really starts at her thigh. She has to roll that thigh back, and then get the feeling as she's cantering. Instead of what she's doing is she's hugging with her calf to keep her balance.
yeah." So she needs to relax her whole leg down. I mean,
That's right.
if I had this rider come to me, I think what I would do is go up and always ask, "Is it okay if I touch your leg?" Is grab her ankle and kind of like what you were saying before, without maybe not with the stirrup, but without the stirrup, and just pull it back towards the horse's stifle and then push it forward and in, because it looks like to me that she's, like you say, she's kind of chair position.
Well, she's gripping,
Say,
like I said, with the outside of her calf, which
with the
means
outside cut part of her calf right here.
but
Yeah.
she's gripping because at her level that she's at with her riding, and that's a nice, like I said, she looks really good, but she's ready to go into the next level because she's balancing herself with her calf instead of her anchoring into her lower legs and her stirrups. Because you can see here, it's almost like the stirrup leather is going to go slack. You can see it, right? You can feel it.
Yeah, there's not there. Her heels are down, but
Yep.
there's not a lot of weight
In the
there.
stirrup, that's right. That
She needs to
stirrup
come.
leather is going to go loose and start flapping. Like go to the next step. I'll bet the stirrup leather gets loose instead of straight up and down. I think she takes the weight out of her lower leg unconsciously, and she puts it to hold on to the horse with her calf and her knee. See it? And this is going to now at this point she's going to leave the saddle early.
Yeah, I'd like to see her knee come down. It just seems
Yes.
to be doing. I'm just gonna
Well,
let it go here
because she's holding with her calf. Right here, you can see this is where she's
leaning onto her knees to get it with the horse.
That's right. She's just staying
Yep.
on her knees. You can see here she's lost the bottom part of her leg. I mean, it's
Slipped
correct.
back.
It looks correct.
It looks correct. That's really
Right.
key. So
But
for
her weight
me,
isn't in there. And look at how far her seat has come out of the saddle. Even for the jumping, she's jumping ahead of the horse.
Yep, she's already over top of the jump, and the horse is just leaving the ground.
That's right.
So to me, this looks like a pivot point.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And then her leg goes back, and her body goes forward.
Which is basic mechanics. But and again, we're being, you sent the pictures in. We're being really picky, and we appreciate you letting us use you as an example for other people to see, because you're a beautiful rider.
Yeah, it's great. I mean, exactly. She's not interfering with the horse. She's staying with the horse. There's nothing really wrong with it, but you can see that she's pinching with her knee, and the weight needs to come down into her lower leg, and her inside part of her leg needs to come on the horse rather than turning the toes out and getting the back of her calf on.
That's right.
So now, exercises for that. Where am I? What exercises can we do?
Well, it's the same ones that we find work with just about everybody. Like a rider like this, all she needs is to be aware of when she loses the feel of being anchored into her lower legs. So with somebody
okay, so get back it up. So how does she know when she loses her lower leg? How does she know that? What
she can do is she can do some exercises, because it's all about the exercises we use to retrain our bodies, right? So
sure. But you can really see here her leg swinging. If you focus on just her leg, I wonder if I can make it bigger.
She's probably a great bareback rider, but for her 2-point position, 5 minutes at a time, just doing 2-point position when you first get out there, and all your goal will be is to go into 2-point position at when you start at relax, warm up at the walk. Then as soon as you go into the trot, and all you have to do in your 2-point position is Make sure you'll feel that your horse, let me see if I can do this here. You'll feel that the horse is doing this in the movements. You'll feel your legs doing this. All you have to do is feel right leg, right leg, left leg. Can you feel the spring? If you don't feel the spring in your lower leg when you're doing the 2-point position or the canter or the walk, then you're not in your stirrups and you've locked up somewhere in your position as a result of not being anchored in your lower leg. So 2-point, of course, the other exercises, the other one we do, the threes, where you do whatever number you choose. It's easier if you start with like 5 or 6 because it gives you more time to count. I've known people who can't count to 6 when they first do this because it's a hard exercise. It sounds easy. All you have to do is, for example, rising trot, or we're going to start with a trot. So 6 steps, 2-point position, feeling the spring. 6 steps, rising or posting. And again,
I call that the up, up, down, or the up, 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 down exercise. I like that exercise. So you stand up in your stirrups for, I say 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 steps, and then count the number of rising trot steps.
Now, the important thing about when you start doing the rising and the posting trot movement is you're going to feel when you normally, like with this rider, I would say they might have a tendency to, she probably lands in the saddle a little bit quick. So when you're doing when you're going around in your position, just feeling if you're springy, you're going to do the 6 2-point position, 6 rising trot. The rising trot, when you rise, you should feel it in your thighs and then sink it down into your legs where there's a spring. When you fall, you'll find at first when you're doing this, you're probably going to fall back into the saddle. It's because you're not rolling back on your thighs and landing on your seat bones. You're probably going back on your rump.
Yeah.
And the third one is sitting trot. You may not be able to sit 6 steps. It's okay. Just that's where you practice using your 2-point.
Well, then if you can't do 6 steps, you do 3 steps.
That's right. Or you
and then work up to 4 steps, then work up to 5 steps.
And in between, just add posting trot. Like if you're working on, if you can't sit, as soon as you feel because we use this in teaching people how to ride extended trots and dressage. All you have to do is, if you can only sit 2 beats, then the next beat do 1 step of the rising trot and then come down again. So this is a normal part of the process of learning how to sit a trot.
So when you look at this rider, you can see if you just focus on her leg, I'm just going to make it a little bigger here as best as I can. If you just watch her lower leg, when she lands, you can see that here, it looks like it's, to me anyway, it looks like her stirrup has gone forward.
Yes.
Her leg has gone forward there. So close it. So when we review it, her leg is back. You can see when she approaches, it's back, and it there.
And that's when her seat's
back,
yeah.
Forward.
You're falling to the back.
Forward. Look at her leg right there in that position. I mean, and this is so great because we can stop the video and look at each frame. You can see here her lower leg is forward, and what has happened to her heel? It looks like there's no weight down in her heel here. So, and then back and then forward again. So her leg is swinging, and that means that your weight is not coming down into your ankle. And for me, when a good exercise for that, for me, is to 2-point, and all the exercises that Randy mentioned as well, too. Those are all really good exercises. I like to do 2-point position at the walk and at the trot. And if you find to get that weight down into your heel, so your heel is flexing with the motion of the trot, and if you're finding that's a little too easy, then start putting up trotting poles or raised poles on the ground. Raised poles on the ground.
Those are also great for learning how to feel the spring. For those of you who
exactly. So we
set them out like for the trot. 3.5 feet is a good one to start with because most horses aren't the big strided ones. Set up 2 first, and then 3, and then 4 in a row, and try your trots over that. You'll notice the spring, especially going over the poles. But just start with the 1 so you can get the feeling. It might throw you off balance at first.
Yeah, it might be. So Mackenzie says, when I first started to ride, I got the bad habit of gripping with my knees in the saddle. When I went to my current trainer a year later, she basically had to reteach my entire leg. Yeah.
I had to do it on my leg too.
Says, I thought we were supposed to grip with your lower leg and have your leg underneath us, heel down. The girl in the gray horse. I thought we were supposed to grip with your lower leg and have your leg underneath us. Well, you're supposed to hug your horse with your lower leg, but not grip too much, particularly if you have a horse that's a little sensitive to the leg. Your whole leg should be hugging around the horse, not gripping too much with your thighs or knees and not gripping too much with your calves or ankles. It kind of is a uniform around the horse with the weight down into your ankles. If you don't have the weight down in your ankles, you're going to pop off that horse.
Into your lower leg and your heel. But here's an analogy that I like, and that is the feeling of the rider's leg when you're not using your legs to cue your horse to do something. It's like if you take a big slab of steak and you throw it on the horse, that's how your legs should be on the horse. You'll notice there's no gripping with it.
Yeah.
Just a slab of steak laying on the horse.
Yeah, she says, okay, grip with the inner calf, not the outer calf. Yeah, exactly.
No
so
gripping,
no gripping.
No tension or tightness.
No gripping, April. April, don't grip.
The riding position. It takes a while, and we're talking about the lower leg and the gripping. When I came up with my riding, I rode bareback for the first 4 years of my life. The hardest thing for me to learn to do was to ride in stirrups, because my leg, I'd gotten so used to bringing my knees up and turning my toes out. Bareback.
So there's one other thing I want to just comment on here, and Randy, maybe you could comment on this too. Oh, am I showing you? Oh, you see, I was marking on that thing and I forgot to show it to you. Okay, here we go. Let me just go back here and share. Okay, you watching now, Randy? Now I'm going to do it. Okay, this.
Oh, jump cups.
Okay.
It's a huge deal.
A huge deal for me. That's a huge deal.
Yeah, that's a safety thing. You have to be careful.
And there's this one here too. They're on the bottom. Maybe that's not as bad, but you could see there's there and there.
So that's a big safety issue, and you would never do this at the bigger shows or at the bigger barns.
Oh, Randy, it sounds like your microphone's getting all messed up here.
Where's it going? Is that better?
Nope. You're getting muffled.
I wonder what that is.
I have no idea. So Mackenzie says should be 2 points of contact, inner thigh and inner calf. Okay, so if it's a 2-point position, 2 points of contact, but your 2 points position, your 2 points of contact are your left leg and your right leg. Those are your 2 points of contact for your 2-point position. And April says her position to me looked like what I thought we were trying to do, so it was confused for a second, but now I understand now. Yeah, she's got a really good position, but you can see that her leg is swinging a little bit.
And we're being super, super picky because that's
April
why
says,
you send in your information.
Thanks for clarifying. Yeah, April says, Laura, you're funny. Yeah, thanks, April. Yeah, so Randy, it sounds kind of like you've got paper rustling near your microphone. I'm just going to mute your mic for a sec and see what it sounds like. Yeah, it's your microphone.
It's not weird. I'm not doing anything.
I know, but maybe it's that new microphone you're using.
Better?
Nope. Actually, it's getting worse. There, that's better. Oh, you muted yourself. Okay, so let's go on to the next one here. Oh, and this is the same woman, same young person. Yeah, that's better.
Well, you had muted me. All right.
Okay, so this one we can't really see. It's the same person.
Right.
There we go. Okay, so we're going to move on to that one, to
Yeah.
something else, because it's the same person and we really can't see from this angle. If you are going to send in a picture or video, try to get it from the side so that we can see. And this, it's a good video, but she's too far away. We really can't see a whole lot at the end of the ring there. So unfortunately, thank you so much for sending those in, by the way. Oh, and here, while we're here, and unfortunately, this is what I see when I watch these things. Cups with no poles in it.
Now, do you want to? Well, you should tell them why, because this is going to go back to their training.
Well, I think, yeah, well, because it's an unsafe situation. If you or your horse were to trip, fall, shy, run out, not go in the middle of the jump, you could get caught on that jump cup. And maybe it's not as bad if they were plastic jump cups with the rounded edges, but it's just a point of contact for you and your horse. So, take them off. It doesn't take long to take them off. It's a safety thing for you, for your horse, and for other people in the area as well.
And it's also like the basics for all the certification programs out there, the instructor, whether it's the United States Hunter Jumper Association, the Certified Horsemanship Association, when they're working with training instructors, that's a big no-no to leave a jump up. Big no-no. Because of the safety violations. But we all had to learn that because we've all done it, right, Laura?
Never.
Oh, you never did, but you were raised in the hunter jumper world. I wasn't, so I came from a background of barrel racing and riding bareback and moved my way up. But it was part of the process when I was first. The things that we did when we first started jumping would scare you. They scare me now, but we didn't know about jump cups. We all had them up.
Yeah.
I mean down. I mean like this, open.
Yeah, without.
We didn't know about safety.
Well, who would think? I mean, also, who would think that could happen? It's such a, It
only takes once, right?
Well, we know that
one injury of a horse or a rider on those jump cups, and that's it. Everything changes.
Okay, so let's get back here. All right, so I want to go to the comments. I'm going to stop sharing this. You trying to get your other microphone working, Randy, or?
Yeah, I don't think I'm going to get it working. Oh,
you seem to be sounding better now.
I'm on my computer mic. So much for the microphone.
Okay, so I'm just going to show you the comments that we're getting from YouTube just quickly because there are some good comments. What are they looking for in beginner walk trot classes? So beginner walk trot classes, if there's people watching who are doing that beginner walk trot classes, they want to do performance. So beginner walk trot, you have to make sure you're riding in balance with the horse, that you're looking up and you're in correct riding position, and also that you are performing the walk and the trot.
And if I could add something here, I think it depends on the division, because most walk trots are either a pleasure division or an equitation.
Division, exactly.
And that makes all the difference. So when we're looking at the pleasure horses, we're looking, walk trot is basically beginner level, which is fine. But the judges are consciously looking, pleasure class, they're looking for a horse that's safe, quiet, and dependable as a pleasure horse. For the equitation class, they're going to be paying more attention to how you're influencing the horse, controlling the horse, and your riding position.
So with respect to the riding position, that means, one, are your heels down? Do you have the correct posting diagonal? If they're asking for posting diagonal, depending on the level of the walk trot beginner class, I would think that a posting diagonal, if they're asking for posting, that may be a requirement.
Yes.
That you are looking up, looking forward, and that you are using the ring properly and able to steer away from the other riders, not going in like a riding school fashion where your ponies or horse is following along behind another horse.
Make sure that it looks that way at a horse show, doesn't it? So many times it ends up, especially at the lower levels, like the school ring, because a lot of the riders start following each other.
Yeah.
It's a great way to find your pace, right?
Yeah. Yes.
When I first learned about showing and riding in the, in the open classes like that, I was lucky enough to have a trainer who pointed out the winner, and he said, all you have to do is follow the winner. Copy their speed. If they're walking slower, if they're trotting fast or whatever, all you
Yep.
have to do, stay a distance behind them, but just mimic everything they were doing. He was so right.
Yep. Exactly. So here's another one. April says, Laura used to duck over my jumps. So this was after our riding instructor fix-it show, which is on Wednesdays with Robert Robold. Laura used to duck over my jumps to copy what the top riders did. I was around 10 to 14 years old, and then it just became a habit. Okay, great. Melissa says, thank you. All right. April, when the horse is pulling me down on her forehand, the transition is exactly what my trainer has been teaching me. Excellent. Thank you very much, April. I really appreciate you commenting on that. What are the best exercises to teach a horse a flying lead change? Oh my gosh. Okay, so that one I think is a little bit beyond what we're going to be doing today, Shirley. If you're here, should you ask for the lead change in the middle of the jump? Again, thank you so much for commenting, Shirley. Want to be friends? Of course I do. I was wondering if you could tell me how to set up a barrel with a saddle to practice my position without being on a horse. Unfortunately, where I ride is still not ready for less. Yeah, this is for after our show last week, Randy, where you mentioned that.
Yeah, so get a barrel, a plastic barrel. You can get them for like $5. Get a piece of wood and put it on each side of the long side. It'll stop the barrel from rolling. If you're taller, you'll put a piece of wood on each side, and you can build up the height by putting a board in front of the barrel and behind the barrel. You just have to make sure that it doesn't roll a lot. The barrel will change the way you ride. It'll teach you to stay anchored in your lower leg as you're doing the rising trot, or you're going to be surprised when anybody who tries this, the first time you try it and you try to do a rising trot or your 2-point position, you're going to be shocked. It'll feel like you can't ride. And I use this with professionals, and they are shocked that they're not in their lower leg.
Yeah, it's very interesting. I know that this when I was learning the stable where my instructor came from, they had 4 posts. I mean, they had 4 posts in the ground with a barrel suspended from springs,
right?
Which I never ever saw before ever.
Yeah.
Okay, so
that doesn't teach you to keep your feet anchored in the same way.
Yeah. Okay. So since being in college on the equestrian team, this is Mackenzie, I've had to ride a lot of different horses. Any tips to adjusting your ride effectively from horse to horse? Oh, great question, Mackenzie. I think if you have a solid position on horse A and you take your solid position and put it onto horse B, then you'll be okay. I think it's important too, though, that you kind of establish a bit of a relationship with your horse, your new horse, before you get on. And once you get on the horse, maybe walk a little bit first, see how they stop, how they turn, how they go, and what kind of horse you're sitting on. That would be my best advice. And try to figure it out and establish a relationship with your horse as best you can in the first 5 minutes.
That's right. Well, usually with the intercollegiate in the United States, I think they have 3 minutes to tune up a horse before they compete. And maybe it's different with what she's doing. So exactly what you said there. You have 3 minutes to get on a different horse is what you want to think. So you've got 3 minutes to connect with the horse. You want to think, there's not much you can do. Like if the horse isn't putting its head in the right place, you're not going to get the horse to put its head in the right place in 3 minutes. All you can do is try to ride in as comfortable a rein as you can so the horse looks like it's on a light contact, and focus on your stop, start, and steers. Remember, you have 3 minutes. So what the best way that I found to prepare a horse, as a former catch rider and stuff, is a lot of transitions, because I want that horse underneath of me as best I can where it's connected to my seat. And since it's a new horse with you, 3 minutes, do a lot of transitions, reward the horse a lot, because 3 minutes.
And I think too, they don't have to be canter walk, canter trot transitions. They can be halt, walk, halt transitions.
Right? I think that's where most of the work is done, just getting the walk halts.
Yes, exactly. So to establish a relationship, and it's tough
Right.
to do, and you just have to
Well, she
take
doesn't
your
have to go.
time and use your e- brain and your mind to communicate with the horse as well.
Right.
Okay, so here's a thing from my sister Allison says, picnic tables didn't have jump cups. Thanks for emphasizing safety. Yeah.
Yeah, we used to jump. That used to be a thing where we'd jump really stupid stuff. But
Yeah.
it was part of what we did. I remember we used to, hay bales. You'd think they're really innocent, right? We used to jump hay bales, not even realizing that, if the horse by chance had stepped into a hay bale, they could get tangled up in the string or the wire or whatever. But we didn't know.
Yeah. I had a friend, he spent, we used to jump picnic tables just as a matter of course, right? That's what we had to jump. And then, so he invited his parents to come watch him jump the picnic tables.
Oh no.
And that was the time, his horse just dropped a leg and just flipped right over. Anyway.
Oh, last time we jumped a picnic table, right?
Yeah. Okay, so let's get on with our reviews. There are some other really good questions here. We're going to get to them. Okay, that's this one. Next one. Okay, so this is Tess. Let's see if we can get it a little bigger.
I'll need my magnifying glasses for this.
Oh, that's a little bit better.
What a cute pony.
Yeah. So are you trying to look at that, Randy? No, for some reason, sometimes I can make it bigger and sometimes I can't make it bigger. Okay, that one's not going to be big. I think that, and then this one, I think they show pretty much the same thing. Is that one a little bit better?
Yes.
So Tess says, hi, my name is Tess. I've been riding for about 4 years. I started jumping around a year ago. I compete in hunters and some jumpers. I see a lot of flaws in my flies. I see a lot of flaws in my riding position. Do you have any tips? Of course we have tips, Tess. Thank you so much for sending in the photos. And if you have any, if you would like to have your position reviewed, please send us in a photo or two or a short video to thistleridge@hotmail.com. thistleridge@hotmail.com, or if you're on Instagram, you can use the hashtag Are My Heels Down. So thank you so much, Mackenzie, for putting in that comment. Excellent. And TRS Murray, we're going to get to yours. And I think if you're watching How to Stop a Rider from Throwing Their Upper Body Forward Over a Jump, we're going to get to that because you can see that this rider's doing that as well, right? So thank you so much for commenting. Really appreciate it. And you can see on this rider. Are you ready, Randy? Do you have your magnifying glass there? What does it look like? Yeah.
Got that magnifying glass. Again, the cute pony. So as I'm looking at this rider, it's, I can see that she's more of the intermediate level, which is awesome. So the first thing I notice is that I have a feeling she is really a dedicated rider. You can see she works really hard at everything she's doing. The horse has a nice attitude. She doesn't appear to be interfering with him. So now let's go to the position. Because
yeah, I agree with you. I mean, overall, generally speaking, your first impression, well, she's not interfering. She's staying with the horse as best as she can. There's lots of good things that we like about it. Love the wish. But let's talk about some of the things. It's looks like she's similar to the previous rider.
Oh, she does. She looks very similar. But, we'll start right away, and you'll notice the first thing is that her head is in front of her hands.
Yeah, this is something that you noticed right away. I mean, after you know, yeah. So this is where her hands are. Her head is in front of her hands.
She's ducking.
So that's how, if you're going in the show ring, if well, for me as a judge, when you're in the show ring, if your head is in front of your hands, that's one indication that you are ducking in front of the jump or ducking over top of the jump. And so what you have to make sure that you do is let the horse come up to you. Don't go down to meet the horse. Let the horse come up to meet you.
Which basically means that you're not staying anchored into your lower legs. And so when the horse is jumping, you're throwing yourself over the front when you should be going deeper into your lower legs.
This is a really common thing as well, because people, we're so focused on getting left behind and holding onto the horse's mouth, or getting the getting caught left behind and balancing on the reins, that you kind of overcompensate by leaning too far forward to stay with the horse. And there's got to be a happy medium there. So let the horse come up to meet you. And there's another thing that I just kind of picked up from one of our other people that we have on here. Patty says, I think it was Patty, you should be able to put a helmet between you and your horse's, between your chest and the horse's neck, mane, withers.
That's right.
And so, if from looking at this, can you put a helmet in between you and the horse's neck? I don't think so. I don't think you can do that here. So what does she have to do?
Sit back.
She has to bring your shoulders back and bring your shoulders back and open up her hip angle. So this is the hip angle here. So we want to keep her seat over the middle of the saddle and open up her hip angle like this. Maybe not that much, but something like that.
Yeah, because again, you can see, as you look at this, you can see she's like top heavy. She's all over the front of the saddle instead of...
Oh, yeah. What's the other thing you say, Randy?
Well,
if you take the horse away,
she'd fall on her face.
She'd go whoop.
And this is normal. Every single one of us who has jumped fences has had to go through this process. So don't think you're different than anybody else. We've all made these mistakes. Right, Laura?
Never.
Oh, you're pretty good.
No. I mean, yeah. So yeah, this is part of the steps that you do, right? Is that this is one of the things, because you don't want to get left behind. You don't want to pull on your horse's mouth. You don't want to get get caught behind the horse's motions. So you overcompensate by getting forward. Right. But that I think is also a symptom of what else is happening with this rider. She's tipping forward because she's got nothing in her base.
Which is, again, normal. It's a normal part of the process. There's nothing, we can't say that you're doing anything wrong. We're just saying, with a rider of your level, because it looks like she's past the beginner stage. She has the basic controls of her body. All she needs to do is get comfortable with keeping her weight over her lower legs and staying more centered, because she's got a lot of things I like about her.
Yeah, so she's got to keep the weight down into her heels, relax the leg, let the leg come longer, open up her shoulders, let the horse come up to meet her. Stay still on your approach to the jump and let the horse come up to meet you to close that angle. And again, what exercises can we do to help this person?
The same ones. And for me, I would like to see her. She needs to imagine that she's got, like the seatbelt analogy. While she's jumping ahead of the saddle. She's anticipating the jump. And again, this is ever so slightly. I would suggest for somebody like this, because she's at that level, that she could do jumps with her eyes closed. Just a single jump. Yeah. To feel when she leaves the saddle before the horse is jumping. And she can just sit there, like the exercise we talked about. She can put her arms above her head. She can put them behind her back. She can put one out to the side or whatever. She just needs to practice jumping.
Staying still. I think she needs to stay still. And again, 2-point position. Get the weight down in your heels. go, and if that's too easy, puts up some trot rails. Put up trot rails that are raised, 3 or 4 inches off the ground, so
And
that accentuates the action of her lower leg coming down, her ankles softening, and the weight coming down past her thigh, past her knee, right into her heel, so that she can get the feel of that and continue on with that.
Robert Ribald had that great exercise he was showing us. You know, we can use poles on the ground or whatever distance you use. But that was as you're coming up to the jump or the pole, you bridge your range in one hand, and that's how you kind of steer the horse. Your other hand, you'll put on the horse's neck, like where 2 inches above the usual thing of right above the withers. Just put your other hand down there as you're guiding the horse up there. As you come up to the pole, all you have to do is put your hand that you're guiding the horse with next to the other hand that's on the neck strap or on the right place on the neck. And that will just sit there. Don't do anything. And that will give you the right position. And that's all he did with that exercise. I thought it was amazing.
There, how's that?
Yes, that's it. So
there it is.
He had them come in. All they did was as they approached the jump, one hand is on the neck where the neck, right above. Where's your best sweet spot that you like them to put their hands, Laura?
Where's the sweet spot that I like to put their, above the withers and slightly in front of the withers.
That's right. So you just, one hand is on the neck.
Yep. In their release position. So they come along here, it's getting your 2-point.
Right.
As they go over the pole,
don't change.
The hand with the reins slides up the neck into a release position. As they come to the second pole,
it comes up where the other hand is.
The other hand is. Yeah.
Right. And it's such a simple exercise, but it teaches riders how to feel comfortable with just doing nothing with their bodies.
Yeah, stay still. Let the horse come up to meet you.
Right. Thank you for sharing that exercise. It was just a great exercise.
Yeah, that's it. It's so simple to set up.
Right.
That's kind of a tongue twister.
It's one of those things where you can do it yourself. All you have to do is practice it. Start at the walk, then do the trot, and then the canter. Because at first, if you're used to, like all riders, if you're used to jumping ahead of the horse or doing things with your riding position, which is all normal, what this will do is teach you how to be still and to follow the movement of the horse.
Okay, let's move on. Okay, so here is, and if you have any questions, please put them in the comments. Oh, we have a comment here. Let's see what this is. My trainer calls those happy poles because we all love the feeling of getting in that gap just right. Yeah, so excellent. Thank you very much, Mackenzie, for the comments. All right, so this is Tanya. Thank you. And she says in her email, thank you for reading and responding to individual emails. You are truly God's. Okay. To introduce myself, I'm not a kid, but I'm just as excited as one about pursuing excellence in all 3 rings. I've been fortunate enough to be blessed with this amazing, promising 15-year-old Irish sport horse mare named Irish Mist. What a lovely name. Lovely horse.
Mm-hmm.
So we've got... So this is Irish Mist. Looks like she's doing a under saddle class maybe, or a hack class. Let's just take a look here.
What a nice horse.
Isn't he lovely?
Or it just looks like one of those horses, because you can see that this is a safe, sound, well, I don't know about sound, but safe, dependable horse that can carry a rider that's learning how to ride and carry their balance and just wants to enjoy life on horses.
Yes, beautiful. Love the turnout. She looks great. Mm-hmm. Beautiful mane, beautiful tail.
Yeah.
Lovely. So, Randy, this is a flat. Oh, she's also she's going in the other direction.
Right.
And let's see. There she is cantering. Is that the horse? Is that the same woman?
Oh, that's not the same person.
It's got draw reins on. Okay.
Those are Lafla reins. All right. So with this rider, again, I'll start from the front end. I just, this horse is so cool. So
I
I'm
love
gonna
this
start at the
horse.
front end, and I'm going to, the first thing this is a different picture. So the other picture, I think the strap under her there, look at the strap under her right ear on her helmet.
Oh, yeah. Look at
So,
that. Let's just take a look at this one.
yeah.
Okay, that one looks better.
So the other side's better. So that's like, go back to the other one.
That's
That's called the dork look. So those straps on the helmet should fit
this
underneath
is
the ears. Like, look at the ears on the other photo, like you showed,
yeah,
and they're in the right place. So that
right
helmet.
here.
Yep. Okay. So now as I I'm going to go down now because I'm going from the front of the horse to the back. And so what I noticed with this rider, with her position, is she has worked so hard on getting this position and she's done a wonderful job, but she's not as with the horses I would expect a rider of this level to be. So in this picture, it looks light and lovely, but her hands have a tendency to drop down. You can feel it's almost like she wants to do a headset. Can you feel that as you look at the photo a little bit, Laura?
Yeah, she's worried about you can see that she's working the horse's mouth there.
Yes.
And now that you're on the hands, I can see, I mean, I wasn't even got to I start here. Oops, I start here and work my way up.
Right.
But yeah, so here it looks like she's curling her wrists in. I don't know if she's working the horse's mouth or not, but she's curling her wrists in. We'd like to see her hands out. Her elbows are in a good spot, but just keep your hands still and ride the horse from the back end up to the front end.
That's right. And so what I would do is I would say that from watching her ride from the two pictures I've seen is that as she's riding, she has a tendency where her hips do not come through her elbows.
Mm-hmm.
So as you're walking, and I forgot her name, as you're walking, trotting, and cantering,
Tanya.
Tanya, feel like your hips are coming more through your elbows. You have a tendency to not do that. Of course, you may not have done it before. As I go down lower, I can see that you can see her right knee is pointing towards me, towards the screen. So that tells me she doesn't have her thigh in the right place, which of course results to what's happening with her lower leg. So keeping your stirrup leather tight, because you can see she's got.
Okay, like what we said before.
Yep. Bring your leg out so your thigh lifts up. Slide your leg back, in the air. And then put your leg on the saddle. You'll be back behind the saddle a little bit. Slide your thigh forward, and your thigh will lay flatter on the horse. At the same time, your knee will go forward, and you'll find that you'll be able to use your calf in a more effective way.
Yeah, I was on the same sort of wavelength as you. I was thinking as again, I would grab this rider's ankle and bring it back towards the stifle or hocks, stifle, and then bring the whole leg forward back into the correct position so that her leg is flatter and the knee is pointing more this way rather than forward, and their knee bone's pointing downward with the weight in the heels. But because what we see here is this is where the stirrup leather is. You can see the stirrup leather is kind of forward, and that's really an indication that she's could be almost in a chair sort of seat.
Right.
We'd like to see the stirrup leather back here. So the front of her lower leg is near the girth right now. Look where her toe is. Mm-hmm. Her toe is up by the horse's elbow.
That's right.
So she needs to bring her whole leg back underneath her. And if she's sitting in the saddle.
And we can see it more with the other picture, like go to the other photo.
Okay. This looks like a trotting picture to me.
Yes, and you can see she's pushing her hands down, and she's pivoting
and back towards herself.
Yes, and pivoting on her knees. So this is where she's trying. I would say she was taught. Remember the old hunt seat position where they told us to arch our backs?
Yeah.
This is what it looks like to me, a little bit of a crotch seat.
Yeah, and here again, let's focus on the base.
Yep.
You can see her toe. Okay, again, it's all the same things, but you can just a little bit closer look is that she's got the back of her leg on the horse's side. We like to have the inside part of her leg on the horse's side. So same exercise for this side. She's consistent. is to bring her leg down and back to get her leg in the correct position with the weight down into her foot.
Yeah, because you can see
And
his
here, too,
points
this is
that
what you were talking about. Yeah.
you can see the stirrup leather's going loose right there. Well, you're looking at the hands, but the stirrup leather is
Yep.
about to go loose. And
Yep.
she has, her leg looks good. You know, from, if we just looked at it, we would say, oh, well, it looks like she's got a nice leg, her heels down, da 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 da. But you can see that right there.
Yeah. She's got all the weight on her toe.
Yep, yep. And it's ever so slightly. This is really slight stuff that we're talking about here. But so when this happens, is what Laura's saying, your weight is on the front of the foot, you've lost your spring. So I can
to get your spring back, again, we need to get into your 2-point position. Even though if you're doing flat work, get into your 2-point position to allow the weight to come down past your knee and into your ankle so that you can get that spring in your ankle. Again, 2-point position. And if that's too easy or you find that too easy, put up some poles on the ground. And a great exercise is just put your reins in one hand and put the other hand on your hip, above your head, behind your back, so that you do get some independent with your seat and legs and your upper body.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, excellent. Okay, so it is 26. Awesome. So as usual, we like to have, if you have any questions, Tanya, please feel free to comment or send me an email. Love to hear from you. Love to hear what you have to say about that. And if anybody else has some exercises that they've done that you think may help this rider, that would be awesome too. So please send an email, thistleridge@hotmail.com, or if you are on Instagram and like to have some position review done on your legs, hashtag are my heels down. I just put that hashtag there only because that seems to be one of the most top things that instructors say to the riders: put your heels down, put your heels down, put your heels down. But that put your heels down is just a symptom of a lower leg that needs to be more developed, more secure. Okay, and as always, let us look at what's wrong. Oh, before we go on to the next one, I just wanted to say something about this picture here. And if somebody knows what I'm going to say before I'm going to say it. Oops, wrong one here. Someone's going to know what I'm going to say. There's empty standards with empty jump cups on it. This is particularly, again, this is kind of a dangerous situation only because if that horse landed off the jump, veered right or left, or fell, or was unable to continue on straight, those are dangerous things to have the horse get caught on. Or if the horse kind of veered one way or the other, shied, spooked, or fell down and hit the rider's leg, that would also be a bad scene. So make sure you remove the jump cups off. It's just a safety thing for riders and for horses.
Yes.
Okay, that picture, let me go back here. Now, as usual, we do what's wrong with this picture. I think I've got a what's wrong with this picture. Okay, you ready for this one? You ready for what's wrong with this picture thing? Oh, wait a minute. Jump cups. Yes, Mackenzie, you got it. Jump cups. What's wrong with this picture? Here we go. They don't have riding helmets on. That's awesome. Would you like to do that? I think that would be a fun thing to do.
I don't.
I think it would be great.
Yeah, there's no way that horse doesn't look happy. That guy's got a skirt on. He's got to be rubbing in places he hasn't thought about it. And
Uh,
flying in the air, how many times did they fall to get to that point?
I don't know. I'm just wondering what happened to her veil, if it spooked the horse or not. And also, I'm wondering, like, did they Photoshop the lunging person out of it, or are they just kind of cantering
Who knows?
blindly in a big field?
Who knows?
I thought that was kind of a cute picture. Okay, one more. Okay, what does Mackenzie say here? If she fell, that's the end of her dress. Well, I'd like to think that she wouldn't have to use it again, although there maybe would be wedding. Okay, let's just see now if I can find one more thing to leave off. Does anybody have any other questions or comments that they'd like to say before we sign off? And when we sign off, I want to share this bit of cuteness with you. We're going to be live next week, and I want to share this bit of cuteness with you before we end off.
Oh, that is such a cute pony. What a nice.
Look at that person's lower leg. Look at that kid's lower leg.
She has spring. Look at the spring. So that's what's important. Is her leg might be wobbly because that's the level she's
I think it's a little boy. This is Jillian's son. He's cute.
Yeah, look at the spring.
Here's a cute video for you to analyze.
Yep.
My 8-year-old son coming off the lunge.
He comes a little bit out of the saddle as he's coming out of the pole, but I'm just looking at he's got spring.
Isn't that awesome?
Yep, that's awesome. I mean, that's the hardest thing for most riders to understand is that spring. So now as long as he can keep that spring in the rest of his riding time, he'll be awesome. Way ahead of everybody else. Okay, when will the next review be? We are here every Saturday morning until we're at horse shows. So for me, that I'm not sure when that's going to be, but we'd like to come Saturday morning. So if you'd like to come back Saturday morning, you'll be on. Mackenzie sent me a video this morning. April also sent me something this morning. So if you'd like to get your review done, we're going to be here next week, and April and Mackenzie are going to be on next week. So we'd like to have that, like to see you then. And thank you so much for coming. And if you like this video, please like it, subscribe to my YouTube channel, and hit the bell icon so you don't miss any new videos coming out. And what else would you like to say, Randy? I would like to thank those who have been sharing their photos and videos. It's great, eh? It's great. Isn't it great? I love doing this. It's a great learning experience for everybody. I know it's a little tough to hear, but we can really isolate the things that'll make a difference in your riding position. And as I keep saying over and over again, every single rider has to go through the same process when they're learning how to ride. There's nothing that you're doing at your riding position that we haven't already done to be able to get to our next level of success. So be patient with your process. Keep watching this show so you can see what you can do, because what Laura's doing is she's showing you things that'll make a difference in your riding position that you can do yourself. Yeah, these are things that you can do. And, if you do have your own trainer, your own coach, don't go to your coach and say, hey, Laura says to do this, or Randy says to do this, or I saw this. Just pay attention to what they are telling you and do what they are telling you, and I'm sure that you will improve. I'm sure they are telling you the same things that we are telling you. At least I hope they are. And take the jump cups off. Right? What are your final words, Randy? We'll see you on the other side of the fence. Yes, and I like to say, hey, go use this stuff. Go hug your horse. Go use this stuff. Thanks now, and thank you so much, everybody, for sending in your videos and pictures. Really appreciate it. Send me an email, thistleridge@hotmail.com. Thanks now. Now go use this stuff. Go hug your horse. Bye. Bye.
Bye.